Hello. Okay, so it looks like it's time for another Caleb and Sophia review. I can never get enough of these. When I saw the title of this particular video, the first video that we're going to take a look at, I was especially intrigued. Very much looking forward to what they have to say on the subject matter of protect our children.
Let's do it.
First things first, something I'm very excited about. I talked a little bit in my other video. Don't know if you could see this because the camera's pointing in the other direction. New merch. Apostate's doing it with the lights on. I have to say I am especially impressed with what I call my white trash wine glass. I love this. Love this. I tell you, I could spend so much time on Teespring just making products that I wish I had. I might do that. I'm gonna make a white trash wine glass. Anyhow, I'm super excited about it. I'll put a link down in the description if anyone's interested. Okay, I have to admit, I lied. The video is not called Protect Our Children, it's Protect Your Children. So let's get right to it. I have a feeling that I and all of you are going to have a lot to say on the matter.
Children, Jehovah wants you to be happy and keep you safe. But some people want to do bad things to you.
Well, I so far agree. There are some people out there that do want to do some very bad things to you. They may be a close member of your circle, perhaps in a group that follows the same spiritual guidelines, like your church. It's a pretty safe place. I agree with what Watchtower is saying. There are people out there that do want to do some bad things to you. Like your parents may want to beat you if you do not follow their rules, which are in line with Jehovah's requirements. They may want to spend years brainwashing you and cutting you off from the rest of the world, maybe not letting you associate with other family and friends. They might want to put an immense amount of guilt on you if you don't do every little thing that they say. Some people may watch your every move and then tell on you so they can climb higher on that spiritual ladder. Some people may demand that you work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a month absolutely free, and then chastise you if you fall a little short. I agree. There are some very bad people out there.
So Jehovah gave you a conscience. It's like an alarm system.
That's interesting. Curious to see where this is going to go. What does your conscience have to do with bad things other people are going to do to you? Oh, I see. Okay, so it is a conscience matter whether or not you stop bad things from happening to you. Isn't this a little victim blaming? We're kind of putting all the responsibility on the victim or the child, that it is their conscience that will determine whether or not someone can do a bad thing to them. Now, I'm no genius, but that's what I'm getting out of it.
So Jehovah gave you a conscience. It's like an alarm system that helps you to know right from wrong.
Interesting. I don't know that I would say that your conscience is like an alarm system that lets you know right from wrong. I mean, I kind of see the aspect of it, but I just feel like that's a really weird analogy.
So, Mom and I will help you test your alarm system. Ready? What if someone tells you something that makes you feel uncomfortable or scares you? What do you do?
Yes, absolutely. What if somebody tells you something that makes you feel uncomfortable, like anybody who doesn't go to the Kingdom Hall with you is going to die? All of your classmates and that teacher that's been so helpful to you during this school year. That makes me uncomfortable. What if somebody shows you like disturbing images of people being tortured or sacrificed, violent pictures, maybe of women being attacked, or crazy, terrifying beasts that will haunt your nightmares forever. Yeah, that makes me uncomfortable. What if somebody tells you that you have to let a loved one die rather than receiving medical attention? That makes me uncomfortable too. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that make me uncomfortable. Let's see what Watchtower is teaching the children they should do in situations like that when they're being made to feel uncomfortable.
What if someone tells you something that makes you feel uncomfortable or scares you? What do you do?
I'm not sure, but that's weird. Stop!
Hammer time!
Very good. Tell them to stop it. And you tell mom and daddy.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm agreeing so much with the governing body. Yes, I 100% stop.
Hammer time!
And anyone who's currently a witness and being terrorized with all of the ideas and the things that I just now described, you need to do like the rest of us are doing and say stop. If it's making you uncomfortable, if it's causing you fear, stop. Get out. This is particularly interesting because of the fact that we know that the Jehovah's Witnesses rule based on fear. I just find it interesting that they are teaching their children to say stop if something causes them to be scared. They're doing my job for me.
Very good. Tell them to stop it. And you tell mom and daddy.
Yes. Now, I 100% agree. I would tell this to my own children. What's a little bit different between myself, many of you, and Caleb and Sophia's parents is that we would take action, real action, if somebody had taken it upon themselves to make our children feel uncomfortable or to deliberately cause them to be fearful. Jehovah's Witnesses, on the other hand, manage these situations a little bit differently. They will do their due diligence to run straight to the elders and tell the elders about it. The elders will deliberate and then will tell the parents, we will take care of this matter. Then they will take the said predator, since I'm pretty sure they're talking about pedophilia here, and they will say, don't do that anymore. And now, because you molested that child, you're not allowed to raise your hand and comment at our meetings. And for damn sure, you're not going to carry the microphones. And they will ensure the parents that the matter has been handled appropriately. But if they're not sure what to do, they will call the legal department. And then the legal department will discuss the matter with them and will immediately tell them, you need to tell that man, because he abused that child, he can no longer raise his hand and comment at meetings. And for damn sure, he cannot handle the microphones. So I guess we would probably handle it a little bit differently.
No matter what someone tells you, never keep a secret from us.
Never keep a secret from us. And what they really mean by that is if you do anything naughty, you need to tell us right away so that we can go tell the elders. And then they can tell you that you may not be able to comment anymore. Never keep secrets. Guilty, guilt, guilt, guilt.
What if they ask you to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable?
Like, wake up at the crack of dawn on one of your only days off and then creepily go through the neighborhood with other people who are strangers to the neighborhood and then knock on these people's doors and then try to talk to them and convince them that everything they're doing is bad, or to leave them just strange literature that they have never asked for. Dear God, that always made me uncomfortable. What if they asked you to do something really bad, like go on a stage in front of hundreds of people and to publicly speak when you have an internal actual fear? Yeah, that still makes me uncomfortable to this day. Or what if they ask you to do something that makes you really uncomfortable, like spy on your friends and to report any infraction whatsoever, because we don't keep secrets? That might make anyone uncomfortable. Yeah, so again, I really got to give kudos to the governing body, because this video really is hitting the nail on the head.
I would say no.
You're right. You should say no.
Yes, So again, say no to these things. If you are uncomfortable going out in service, if you are uncomfortable preparing talks, if you are uncomfortable having to go up on stage and do reenactments, say no. If you're ashamed that you didn't put enough time in and then you have to fill out this time card and it makes you feel uncomfortable, say no.
You're right. You should say no and walk away.
No.
Run, bitch, run! He gon' kill you!
Run from any pedophile, any person that's trying to make you feel uncomfortable by making you do something or telling you something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Walk away. All right, I also want to point this out really quick. Take a look at this monster dude. They're also making a huge mistake here that most people out in the world tend to make, especially during the 80s and the 90s, is that they make the strangers seem creepy, scary, and pretty obvious. When in actuality, we all know that most predators are usually attractive, friendly, and oftentimes someone that you know. So I always hated any kind of videos aimed at children when they make bad guys look hideous because, yeah, no, more than likely, a kid's not gonna go with somebody that's scary looking.
What if they try to touch you where they shouldn't?
Like in your heart or your checkbook. Yeah, those are places that they shouldn't be touching.
I wouldn't let them. I'd get out of there.
Good, Caleb.
Caleb's like a freaking genius. He'd get out of there. Current Jehovah's Witnesses, get out of there.
Even if it's an adult you know and trust, you should say no and run away. And you should yell, "Stop doing that! I'm going to tell on you!"
Stop doing that. I'm going to tell on you.
Yeah, if only it was that easy. All right, so all sarcasm aside, not likely. We know that they're talking here about child sexual abuse. That is really what it comes down to. So let's talk about how Jehovah's Witnesses manage child sexual abuse. Like, I really got to tell you. For those of you who are former witnesses, this is not news to you at all. What tends to happen when a child is abused, they tell their parents, of course, and the parents will, as I said earlier, they will go and report this to the elders. What they failed to mention in here is that not once did Caleb or Sophia's parents ask if there was a second witness. Yeah, because we all know that's key. So if you're unfamiliar with this cult, they require there to be a second witness for any kind of sexual abuse, be it rape, child molestation, etc. There has to be 2 witnesses. Otherwise, they feel there's nothing they can do. I've even been told by witnesses that our judicial system follows the same rule. No, it clearly does not. And it's easy for the governing body and elders and whoever's speaking to tell this to the congregation because the congregation is not allowed to have actual knowledge of things like our judicial system or our government structure whatsoever. So it's really easy to say, hey, we're just handling it the same way that people in the world handle it. No, not the case. Then next, not only do they require a 2-witness rule, but how they handle child sexual abuse to begin with. And I have a few videos on this. I will go through them and I will drop some links in the description if you haven't watched them already. But how they manage child sexual abuse is, let's just say there's 2 witnesses. What will happen is that they will handle things internally. And what that entails is talking to all parties involved, talking to the alleged perpetrator, and then taking the child by themselves into a room with 3 adult men who will ask very, very detailed questions about the situation, everything that could possibly have occurred, including whether or not it stimulated them, or if they liked it at any point in time. Then the brothers will talk amongst themselves. They will pretend to pray about it and then pretend to get the information directly from God and decide whether or not the alleged perpetrator is guilty. What's actually happening in the background is they have a huge manual that they have to go through step by step ask all these detailed questions of the victim, the perpetrator, and themselves, and weigh things out based on the exact information in the secret elders manual that the congregation does not know about, and decide the guilt or innocence of the alleged perpetrator. Now, if they are found innocent, they are free to molest to their heart's content. If they are found guilty, then they can be disfellowshipped. They're expected to come to the meetings, not to speak to anyone, and the entire congregation is to avoid eye contact and to speak to them. Absolutely not. No communication, no talking, no interaction, but a lot of times people will just also avoid eye contact. They are set to sit in the back of the room or in a separate room, like a caged animal, where they can see what's going on but cannot have any kind of fellowship. I guess they feel that their jail is enough. Now, during this time, no one in the congregation is told why this person is disfellowshipped or being shunned. They just know that it's really, really bad, like maybe they smoked a cigarette, or maybe she wasn't submissive enough to her husband. Over time, that internally convicted pedophile is encouraged to pray, study, and to earn the congregation's grace, get back into the congregation's good graces again. And once they do that, then they are no longer disfellowshipped and they can rejoin the flock and again continue to abuse to their heart's desire. Now, when it's time to report the matter to the authorities, they just generally don't. The exception to the rule is they will report in states when it is mandated. Whether they're actually doing this or not, I can't say, but I do get a feeling that they probably are reporting when it's mandated in order to avoid any kind of legal action in the future. So now I am aware of a situation with an active witness who was recently telling me, yes, she's very in, was recently telling me that her husband, an elder, had to manage a child sexual abuse situation, and that he did report it to the police anonymously. And see, that makes me really nervous. A couple of reasons why. If it's put out in the paper or anything, it's not going to be connected to the Jehovah's Witnesses. And when something's anonymous, we don't really know if it was done or not. Now, I am going to tell you for the places where it is not mandated, and there are tons of ex-witnesses out there and current witnesses that can vouch for this. The verbiage that is used when you're discussing this with the elders encourages you to not go to the authorities, to trust their judgment and to have faith in Jehovah, because he will handle things in his time. That is one of the biggest things that I get people arguing with me about, is that when they tell me that the elders do not discourage reporting to the authorities. They absolutely discourage. The verbiage is so sneaky and so tricky that even the parents think they're making the decision. It's creepy as fuck. Let's move on.
The world can be a scary place, but you are never alone.
Oh yes. Living in their world can be a very, very scary place. And I beg to differ, Caleb's daddy. You do feel very alone as a Jehovah's Witness.
Remember, you have your conscience, your mom and dad who love you, and you have Jehovah.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. You know my thoughts on the matter. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to work on maybe my next two videos, working on them being a little bit shorter. I'm trying to maybe get videos out more often and at least more timely. I do get a lot of feedback from everyone. Some people say they prefer the shorter videos, some prefer to listen to the longer ones, maybe while they're at work. But let me know what you think, because I listen to both. I have some people that I listen to that are very short 5-minute videos and some people that are 30-minute videos, if the content's good. But let me know what your preference is. I'm just curious altogether. Anyhow, it's been a great couple of weeks, as you guys have seen. I had an amazing time with Millie and Moonshine. She's been asking if she can interview me herself, and I don't know, not 100% sure that I'm comfortable with that. Oh, so stop! See, when you feel uncomfortable, you say no. But I'm known to go outside of my comfort zone from time to time. You should be too. As always, I want to thank everyone for their support. It is amazing interacting with you guys. I am looking forward to our next live stream. I know I said it'll be regularly the first Wednesday of every month, but I might sneak one in before then. And until then, I'll see you next time.